Welcome to AI Champions. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and joining me from my second favorite country in the world is Australia, specifically up in Queensland, is Dr. Karen Sutherland with the University of the Sunshine Coast and Dharana Digital. I think I got that all right, Doctor, correct?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. It's great. I love Australia, as I mentioned off camera, one of my favorite countries to visit. So, but we're not here to talk about my vacationing. We're here to talk about AI. So, Dr. Sutherland, talk about first of all, talk about a little bit of your background, and then how did you get in this space of artificial intelligence?
Well, my background is in marketing and communication. So I've worked in the space now for nearly 30 years, and I've taught at higher education level at universities for, say, the last 10 years. And I would say about maybe 3 to 4 years ago, I started to become very interested in AI with tools like Jasper and how that was being used, generative AI in our space. And then when ChatGPT launched, it really opened things up and to make it more accessible for everyday people to use generative AI. And no one knew what to do. And so for the last few years, I've been speaking and training in the space. And the last year, I conducted a lot of research to write a book to try and guide communicators on how to use AI. And one of the interesting things about my research with that book, apart from surveying practitioners, I also interviewed AI tool developers because I thought they're people we really need to speak to about how we need to use these tools for our practice. So it was really fascinating to go on that journey and learn more.
That's great. So what's the name of your book?
I'll show you. I'll shameless plug. It's Artificial Intelligence for Strategic Communication. And while, yes, it is an academic research book, but I'm very big on applying theory to practice. So at the end of every chapter, I've used the research to come up with a practical tool that people can use to implement in their AI in their practice. And the whole book culminates in a big model for practice at the end, where it's a step-by-step guide that's research-led on how to integrate AI into a communication team or into an organization. So the main focus is on continuous improvement because it's not something, as you would know, that you do set and forget. It's ongoing because AI is changing all the time.
May I ask, when did you publish?
When did I publish?
Yeah, when did you publish the book?
It was actually last month it came out. So it was in March. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, through Palgrave Macmillan Publishing.
It's changed since you published the book, but since it just came out,
well, it's funny. Yeah, well, when I was doing the final proofs was when DeepSeek just dropped. And so I was madly trying to change it and put DeepSeek in there before it published. But yeah, I mean, it was always playing catch up. I think I used the term at time of writing throughout the book because I knew it wasn't going to be, the fundamentals will apply, but of course the specific tools and models that I talked to, were current at the time.
So I think we got this gap, right? The knowledge that you see in the businesses, and then the ability to leverage the tools to be successful. What do you think some of the gaps or cultural issues for adopting and integrating such technology in businesses, be it whether it's marketing and communications or other sectors, are right now?
I think there's a big focus on the tools and not much on the strategy and the governance, which is a worry. From what I'm seeing from organizations, I think initially they need to bring someone in who AI is their area of expertise rather than just jumping at flashy tools, because the new tools are going to pop up every day, but having a strategy and a plan of how to implement it to really, help what you're already doing is the key. And also having a policy. So many organizations do not have an AI policy, and they're experiencing what is known as shadow AI, where their employees are going off and using AI anyway, but there's no rules around what they're doing. So they're doing it on the fly under the radar, and that's going to bring some potential risks to the organization.
No, that's huge. It's fine. You always say, you got to define the problem, and then the strategy that's going to take you from the present to the future. And if you don't kind of think through that, then you can build capacity and tools which are either obsolete from the beginning, not needed, very expensive, by the way, and that's huge. I love your point about the workforce. They're not going to use it. Unless they're in some secure government facility, they're going to use those tools. I mean, I use it daily in some capacity. A lot for just research, right? Initial research, and I can deep dive in areas which I think are important, either through the use of ChatGPT or other, digital, databases and stuff. And so you foresee that we have to have an educational, I guess there needs to be a series of educational activities both at the university level and probably in within business to get people up to standard to make smart decisions for an AI strategy. Is that what you're saying also?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, from the book, I've developed some packages as well that are ongoing. So it's a monthly training session after the initial sort of integration and policy development and strategy. Then, I mean, there needs to be monthly training and
Yeah.
also conversations in a culture where people are talking about it all the time because the changes in AI are happening all of the time. It's not something you can do, say, a workshop once a year and tick it off the list. It's an ongoing discussion about how can we leverage it for the best of the organisation without putting anything in at risk in terms of information and confidential data and things like that. It's an ongoing thing. It's not just a nice to have every so often.
So with your company, what kind of services or products do you guys provide?
Yeah, well, I mean, my focus on in the company now is largely on AI training and consulting, but we also do things like SEO and websites and social media, those sorts of things. And we also use AI with a lot of human oversight to deliver those services as well to make it more streamlined for our clients.
Yeah, and for those who are watching, since we are an international show, you're obviously you're being on here is an indicator of that is. Do you service most of your clients there in Australia, or do you potentially take on clients?
I have a lot of clients in the US as well. So yes, and the UK too. So yeah, I'm all over the place. As you can tell, I'm used to doing things in the middle of the night. That's fine by me. Yeah, no, yeah. I did a workshop with it was an influencer marketing agency in LA last week, and that was at 5 a.m. So I could perform well during the middle of the night. That's fine.
Well, that's the beauty of tech, right? I mean, we have global reach, and you can be
Yes.
very effective, with what you're doing in other business segments. That's just again, it shows you, the ability of the tech to influence, businesses, markets, and communications, which you're living in all three of those buckets right now. So, so Dr. Sullivan, how do folks find you? I imagine obviously you're on LinkedIn, and then how do folks find your company?
Yeah, I mean, if you're specifically seeking AI services, my website, drkarensutherland.com, has all of the information there, and LinkedIn, of course. Feel free to reach me there and to message me. Happy to hear from you. And then we have Dharana Digital, the website, which has more about SEO and sort of digital marketing services.
All right, folks, I encourage you to take a look at Dr. Sutherland's contact information and her company and see what they're doing. If you need products and services, her services capability to reach out to her and her company, and also take a look at her book. I'm sure it's listed on Amazon. Those guys who deliver those little boxes to our house in the 24 hours or less. All right, we'll see our next segment of AI Champions and Live with Gratitude.